And welcome to In-Game Chat for Saturday, January 22nd, 2022. It is Season 16, Episode 3. I'm Scott.
I'm RJ.
I'm Matt.
I'm Wendy.
And welcome to the show, everybody. If you'd like to get in touch with us, our phone number is 272-334-272-9228. You can go to ingamechat.net for all the links to get in touch with us. You can also find us on Twitter at InGameChat as well as on Facebook. You can email us, everyone at ingamechat.net if you would like to do that. We are streaming on Twitch right now. You can go there, twitch.tv, type in In-Game Chat, and you'll be able to find us. And you can watch the show as well as listen to the show and interact with the show if you'd like to by typing there in the chat room, or go to our Discord, and you can participate in the show by actually being on the air with us. I mean, you can call us too if you want, but Discord sounds like you're in the room with us, so pop in there. You can find our Discord link at our website. Go to ingamechat.net, scroll all the way to the bottom, and you will find the link there, and you can join in there. We've got a place where you can post questions if you have them, or you can just join the voice chat, and we'll bring you on the air. So there you go. Welcome to the show. It is Matt's last turn for a while here. I'm glad you could make it at least.
Yeah.
Even if there wasn't anything to talk about, and you know, we always have plenty of things to talk about. Today is a little bit different, but I'm glad that you could make at least this show.
Yes.
Your last one here, at least until, you know, what is it, 2 months you're going to be gone?
Yeah.
All right. So, yeah, back in, I don't know, we'll see you back in May, probably. Maybe April. Maybe. Like, you're not going to come back and not have stuff going on that you've got to do.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I won't be back till April.
Yeah. Let's do this. And get on with the show, because there's a lot to talk about. I don't even know if we're going to do a rundown of the games that we played. Except maybe we do, because did I finish Hellblade by the time we did the show last week? Was Hellblade done?
I think you said you did.
I was done with it. Yeah, I was done with it.
I need to finish that.
You should.
That's the Senua, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Senua Sacrifice.
Did you do it in regular or VR?
I didn't do it in VR. I did it in regular. She was watching too, so I couldn't do it that way. I guess I could stream it if I wanted to, but I would rather my first experience with that game be, you know, just playing it normally.
Did you do it with headphones?
No, didn't do it. Again, she's watching, so
I know, but
she
yeah, they say that.
I understand.
Because like what little bit I have played up to a part where, like, in the beginning you get to a like kind of like a circular room, and like people start coming out and you fight them. I don't know if that makes any sense, but
Is it near a dock?
yeah, like
Okay,
you
I know
have to
where you're
climb
at.
up some stuff,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
then
I know
like
where
you're in
you're
the
at.
ruins, but like just hearing everything, you know, in the headphones,
Yeah.
is just amazing. And in VR, it's crazy too.
I'm sure. Yeah, I'm very sure. Yeah, no, it was great in that regard. I had some problems with it as far as, like I said, telling you what to do or where to go. Some of that can get confusing. Obviously, later on in the game, it actually almost doesn't matter because there is no other. It doesn't feel like it branches.
Very
but there
kind
was
of linear.
Yeah. It's very linear. It's very linear. There was.
I mean, it has a story to tell.
Yes,
and
yes.
open worlds in concise stories don't always go hand in hand.
I don't consider it open world.
Yeah, but like I'm just saying in general.
Oh yeah,
That's why like really good concise stories tend to be more linear because they they want you to see this beat at this moment at this angle.
No, this is a very structured game as far as the level design and everything else. There is no, not that I didn't play it that way. I played it, and I told Wendy this when we were playing. I was like, this is my explorer brain kicking in, and there's no reason for it to be here because they don't hide anything from you.
Yeah.
Outside of maybe some lore stones. They might hide some lore stones, but otherwise, there was, you wouldn't miss much, if anything at all, by kind of exploring. And for the most part, there wasn't anything to discover if you did explore. Other than maybe, well, I guess I'm not supposed to be in this room, or this is just a dead end, whatever, and you turn
Well, look,
around.
it still pays to be observant in that game.
It is.
Like I said, like that, seeing that face in the waterfall in the very first part of the game.
Right.
That's something you just, if you're just not paying attention and focus on one thing, you're going to miss that easy. But
I
if you
kept
look around normally, you'll find
I
stuff
kept an
here and
eye
there.
out for the lore stones, and then, and I guess totally blinded myself for the faces in the stuff. I saw one face in the waterfall, and I just thought, and I didn't really make the connection at the time to like focus on that, so I could get a story out of it. I thought that was I like, I don't know what that face is, but I'm moving because I guess they hadn't explained the face thing to me yet. I don't think. Anyway. Once they did explain the face thing, I realized the waterfall, but I didn't go back to it.
Face thing and waterfall?
There's
I definitely need to replay
faces. You can find faces.
Yeah, there are things in the game. I think the base of the whole game, for me anyway, is
it's PTSD
perception.
and...
It's perception.
Okay.
Because some things are going to be real, some things aren't. But you got to look around to see it. Mm-hmm. So in my experience, it was just very good to just look around constantly, even if it is linear, it's not something open world or whatever. Just constantly look around and be aware of everything around you in a game like this. So if you keep doing that, you're going to find lore stones and faces in places you're not thinking about. And then the nature of opening doors in general is being observant anyway. I mean, you'll get hints of where those runes and things are, but you got to look around and be perceptive of what's around you to move through. So that's what I got from being observant and just looking around playing this game.
Did you go any further in that?
I got to the point where I'm climbing up the stuff and getting that bridge to walk across. But I'm gonna start over because when I sit down with it, I want to put a lot of time in this thing. I want to go straight through and not have anything distracting me. So I'm going to start over from scratch. I wasn't too far to begin with. So when I start over, I'm just sit through and play through and take it all in one sitting.
Yeah, gotcha. So. Having said all of that, just that, some Hellblade stuff and not really anything else to go into other than it was weird how that day played out because the way I set up news and everything, the way I set up how I do all this is that, I every day I'm looking at my feed and everything else and I'm like, okay, save that for later, save that for later, save that for later, blah, 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 go through it. And I have 6 news stories that covered Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday up to like 10 a.m. Central Time. So like that, 6 stories out of that. And it's just weird to see as I was going through those to be like, these people have no idea what's about to happen. Of course, it's one of those things you didn't know either. When you're sitting there, but going back and looking to see what they were reporting on, like we got the news about the Awesome Games Done Quick. They raised $3.4 million for charity, which is a brand new record for them, which was great. That was news.
So
there was
the past 2 weeks. I've been out of the loop, so I don't know anything of what's been in the news.
Oh, no. You will know. And I'm very surprised that you wouldn't already know this. Anyway, what else do we have? There was a live-action Lost Judgment TV series in the works that somebody was reporting on. There was the Kingdom Hearts Switch version that would be released in February, but through the cloud, not on a cartridge-like thing. You'll be playing it
you have
digitally.
To download it from interesting.
Something like that. It's fine. That sort of thing. We got news that God of War passed Horizon Zero Dawn, being Sony's biggest PC launch.
Oh.
Which is understood, I think.
Okay.
Well, Horizon, there's no, built-in... I don't want to say there's no
franchise
built-in audience.
Well,
you know?
the God of War's had a franchise already,
right?
So
God
it has
of War's
name recognition.
God of War's been around for a while, so yeah, of course, that going to PC is going to have a lot of people saying, "Oh yeah, new God of War, sure, I'll play that." I get to play it on my PC, and apparently, by all accounts, everything runs really great. Looks amazing on PC. If you got the hardware to make it look amazing, you can do that. There were two other stories. Phil Spencer from Microsoft said that he made a comment on Sony's rumored Game Pass equivalent that they were doing, saying that he thinks it's a great idea if they do it. He is not concerned in the least about Game Pass. Game Pass is a juggernaut, man, and even more so now. But and then another one about Activision still trying to hide the problems of what was going on. Apparently, he was. Let's see, what do we have here? It was about Bobby Kotick. Something about him. He's still trying to hide the scale of Activision's problems. Wall Street Journal is reporting that not only have they fired dozens of staff in the last few months, but that Bobby Kotick has been hiding the information from the public. More than 36 employees have been let go, while around another 40 have been disciplined. Figures that Kotick is alleged to have suggested could make the company's workplace problems seem bigger than is already known, according to those who spoke to the paper. They confirmed with an Activision spokesperson that 37 people have left the company, whether jumping or pushed, is what it says, and 44 have been disciplined. However, she denied a claim made by the newspaper sources that 700 reports of misconduct and other issues were filed by staff as part of the company's current internal investigations. So, yeah, they're still dealing with that. And let's see. Just looking through more of this. Anyway, that was all leading up to the bomb drop Tuesday morning of Microsoft buying Activision Blizzard.
Wait, what?
Yeah. You didn't know this?
No, like I said, I have been disconnected.
You've been amazingly disconnected to not know that, because that's all that has been talked about. The rest of my feed,
Activision Blizzard. The
rest of my feed for the rest of the week were the ramifications of this thing, the analyzations of this thing, the predictions of this thing, just nothing but Microsoft has bought Activision Blizzard. It won't take effect until June or July of next year.
Okay.
But they bought it for $70 billion. $70 billion.
With a B, folks.
The largest, monetarily, and probably any other way you want to look at it, is the largest acquisition in game history. They now own everything that is Activision, everything that is Blizzard. Not only that, they also own everything that was King. And by King, that means Candy Crush. All those mobile apps. Microsoft now owns them.
Jeez.
In fact... and when I say now, I mean, they will. Look, this has got to go under like all these different, trade or whatever, all the scrutiny of, hey, is this a monopoly? Is this okay?
Trade
blah, blah,
regulations,
blah.
board, things all like that.
Yeah, they got to go through all of that junk to make sure that it's right. And honestly, at the beginning, people were like, well, maybe this is gonna. Who knows if they let them do this? But afterwards. Everybody's come to the assumption that, this will go through, no problem. There's no reason that this doesn't go through.
So before you read any articles and news things about that, what was the first thing that came to mind when you got the news that Microsoft got this company?
The first thing that came to mind when I saw it was tell other people. So, because, I follow Wario64, and he usually just gives me game deals, but he popped up with news from time to time. Mm-hmm. He's the one... By the way, it was him that I got notification that you could now get COVID tests sent to you from the post office.
Right.
Just had to go put in your address, and they'll send you 4 free home tests for COVID. It was from him that I got that notification. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I got that notification on my phone, like Microsoft buys Activision Blizzard. And I looked at it. I was like, oh, my God. So my first thought is to post it on Discord. So I went to the in-game chat one where the Destiny clan is like, here, that one. And then I popped it on the other one as well. Ours that we have right here. I popped it on there. About that deal. Afterwards, I went looking to where else is this spread and what else are people saying about it? Where I could, because it was also in the middle of a workday. But so that was man, that was a big deal. And so here's where do I have it? Hang on. I had it. That's the I don't care about franchise. Is it by the numbers, maybe? Let me see. I know there was a list. Yeah, here it is. So Microsoft now owns Activision, but also Blizzard. And under that, they got the Beanox studio, who did a lot of Spider-Man stuff, I think. Digital Legends, I don't know who they are. High Moon Studios, that's ringing a bell and is completely off my radar as far as what they've done, but I recognize the name.
Yeah.
Infinity Ward. King, which does a lot of the mobile apps for Candy Crush and stuff. Radical Entertainment, Raven Software.
Yeah.
Sledgehammer Games. Toys for Bob, which is another game developer, and Treyarch are all now owned by Microsoft.
You said High Moon Studios, right?
High Moon Studio, yes.
Yeah.
Black
award-winning studio developing for the Call of Duty franchise. Quick thing, they did the Deadpool game in 2013, Dark Watch in 2005.
Right.
A couple of Transformers Cybertron
the Cybertron series. Yeah. That's where.
That's right. They own that now. So think of those games and think about how jam-packed Game Pass is going to become.
I'm just thinking about how Microsoft will have all these new properties that they'll do nothing with.
We don't know that.
Oh, they have plenty of properties that they do nothing with.
Well,
a lot of companies do that, but I was thinking about more.
When's the last Crimson Skies you played?
What company was that?
Microsoft.
Well, yeah, but who did they buy?
What studio was that from?
Yeah,
I had to.
If they bought a studio that did that, then we could see if that's a pattern. But honestly, I don't think that they do that anymore.
But
I don't know who had Crimson
for the longest
Skies.
time. Microsoft had FASA, and we never got. It was years before we got another MechWarrior. And they had to wait for them to get someone else.
What else do they have that they've kind of sat on though? Because I know they bought Ninja Theory and they're going strong with that with Hellblade.
The Microsoft Game Studio stuff, like the Midtown Madness.
Their stuff, yes, I can see where you're saying. It's the reason that they're buying all of these studios is because themselves, they don't really have a lot in the they don't have a lot of bullets in the chamber, I guess you could say. There's not a lot of stuff there from Microsoft Studios. It's all from other studios. 343 Industries does the Halo stuff.
Yeah,
they bought Minecraft or Mojang or whatever the name of the company is, so they could have Minecraft, and they built on that. I've got a list here of everything that they'll own. They own Bethesda now, and they're still working with that. Let's see, Compulsion Games, they own that. I don't know what they've done. We Happy Few, I think, is the last thing that they've done, and they haven't done anything else since.
So basically, what you're saying is like Microsoft, we don't make games so well, so we just buy a company who does know what they're doing. We just acquire them.
Matt's comment fits more with EA, I think, than it may with Microsoft, and it feels like it fits more with EA.
EA also is.
Well, Microsoft owns Double Fine Studios. They did Psychonauts 2 recently, right?
Yeah.
We talked about High Moon Studios.
Wait, Microsoft owns Double Fine? Mm-hmm. I didn't know they bought them.
Yeah.
I thought Tim was still independent.
Tim Schafer maybe, but
like Double Fine and
Double Fine is this is under Microsoft here.
Okay.
id Entertainment. What else was there? Let's see, Mojang, of course, Ninja Theory, which they're working on, Obsidian Entertainment, they own that. Rare, Raven, The Coalition, The Initiative, Turn 10, Undead Labs, Xbox Game Studios Publishing. It's like, yeah, whatever. ZeniMax Online. So they own, there's a lot of stuff here. I don't necessarily know that they don't do anything with it. Let's see, what will Microsoft's biggest franchises games be when the deal closes? When the deal is finalized, Microsoft will have an impressive collection of franchises under its belt. Here are some of the biggest in alphabetical order. Age of Empires, Banjo-Kazooie, Battletoads. They've
always had Age of Empires.
Yeah. Call of Duty, Candy Crush, Crash Bandicoot is now owned by Microsoft.
I thought that was a Sony.
That Activision bought the IP.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, because Naughty Dog.
That was Naughty Dog, yeah.
Naughty Dog, but Activision bought. Activision's the one that did the new stuff. Published it anyway.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. So Crash Bandicoot, Deathloop, because they bought Bethesda, and of course that'll be, even though that's on PS5, they honored those exclusives. But yeah, that Deathloop is owned by Microsoft. Diablo is now owned by Microsoft.
Yeah.
Dishonored is now owned by Microsoft. Doom, Fable, Fallout, Forza Horizon, Forza Motorsport, those are all first-party things. We understand that.
Yeah.
Guitar Hero is now a Microsoft property.
Yeah, because that was Harmonix.
It was Harmonix, but Activision owns the IP.
Yeah.
Guitar Hero franchise. Hearthstone franchise now.
Yeah.
Minecraft, of course, we mentioned. Overwatch is now owned by Microsoft.
Oh, wow.
Perfect Dark, because they bought Rare.
Yeah.
Psychonauts, we mentioned. Quake, Sea of Thieves. Skylanders. Spyro the Dragon is now a Microsoft property. Another Sony staple, almost. Or PlayStation
he was
staple.
also a PlayStation mascot.
He was very close to being one. But Spyro the Dragon, StarCraft, The Elder Scrolls, Tony Hawk's Pro Skater is now owned by Microsoft, and World of Warcraft is now owned by Microsoft. WoW is now owned by Microsoft. Good God.
For the Horde.
How many of those franchises y'all play?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
A bunch.
Yeah.
I've played Banjo-Kazooie, I've played Battletoads, Call of Duty. I have never played a single game of Candy Crush ever on anything.
Same here. A lot of those, a lot of those titles you spoke of. I mean, I got really no experience with them or played like maybe once. I mean, I bought Call of Duty like once, and I think it was 2, and it was used. Just to see what the fuss was all about, and it just didn't hook me in. So.
Well, it is a massive.
It's a massive haul. Yeah,
yeah,
sure
it is a massive list.
I was asking earlier what you thought about the first thing when you saw the news and the map. For me, the first thing I thought was, okay, what's being exclusive and what's being put on Game Pass, and does it have to be put on Game Pass if it's big enough?
My mind went directly to Game Pass. I mean, I understood. Okay, they own WoW now.
Yeah,
and they own those big Activision Blizzard properties. Which at first mind you're going to think, WoW. Call of Duty. That's what you're going to think. But there's also Overwatch, which is also big for them.
StarCraft.
StarCraft was a Blizzard thing. Yeah, exactly.
I mean, there's still people.
But they haven't done anything with StarCraft.
But I mean, yes, but I mean, there's still like around the world, StarCraft 1 is still being played.
Yeah.
About Overwatch, is it still pulling in big numbers? Are the numbers dwindling down a bit?
I don't know how it's doing.
I haven't heard anything about it. I haven't heard anything about it lately.
Yeah,
I keep hearing about Fortnite more than Overwatch.
They were working on an Overwatch 2 and maybe even did a teaser for Overwatch 2, I believe. But I think development on that actually got delayed or slowed or something like that. So
yeah, but
I feel like the out of touch, grandpa talking to the about kid stuff again. Like I feel so out of.
Dude, I don't play Fortnite either. It's fine.
Just in general, man.
I don't play what the kids are playing. Or it depends. If you ask people in the chat, I probably do. They would say Destiny's for a kid's game. I'm still playing that. So
Cookie Crumble?
It was a lot. Huh?
Cookie Crumble?
Cookie Clicker.
Oh, Clicker.
Yeah. I just leave it going in the background.
Fall Guys. Play that.
What did you say?
Fall Guys.
I remember the TV show.
Has nothing to do with it. No, it really has nothing to do with it. No. So you're going back to your thing, like what's the first, like a ton of different things. Yeah. It was spread the story, number one, and then like, what does this mean? Well, it means that Game Pass is just going to become this real
juggernaut,
dominant force for Microsoft to say, look what you get. Now, dominant force to raise the price, possibly.
No, but what I was saying about the big names that are most likely, I'm thinking, going to be exclusive now. Do you have to put it on Game Pass or make them purchase it flat out?
No, I think it'll be on Game Pass.
All the big Call of Duties or World of Warcraft upgrades or anything like that is going to be on your.
But it'll also be out there for people who want to play it on PlayStation or the PC. But if they want to play it on PC, it'll be part of their Game Pass subscription thing, so that you can play it on PC if you would like to, while just subscribing to Game Pass. I think I don't, and that's going to be real interesting where WoW is concerned, because isn't that a subscription service?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it has been in the past. I don't know if it still is. I haven't played WoW in forever.
I'm not sure that there's and the chat room can correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not sure there's a subscription service on Game Pass that you'll get it requires you to pay a monthly fee.
What about Sea of Thieves?
No, as long as you've got to have Xbox Live Gold or whatever.
But on the PC?
No, that comes with Game Pass. Unless you're outright not a member of Game Pass, you don't have to.
Okay.
It's part of the Game Pass.
I didn't know. I know it's part of Game Pass, but I thought it was also a subscription base for some reason.
Not that I know of. No.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
It's subscription based so long as you have Game Pass. That gets you online. Kind of like, you know how I'm trying to remember. Like on Xbox, if you paid for Gold, you were online and you could do those things. But if you didn't pay for Gold, there were certain games that you really couldn't play because they were online only.
Yeah.
Something like that. So, but I don't think there's anything in that group. And again, I could. I'm sorry, I'm reading the chat room now, and I don't understand Scott making laughs when he's trying to hold the giggles. I don't know what that was about. I don't know where that came from, but yeah, I was just trying to see if there was anything that's on Game Pass that required a subscription outside of that. And I don't think there's anything like that. I've never really looked at it to be sure, but it'll be interesting how that works. But yeah, that's a lot. I think that Game Pass will get all of these titles, and then unless there is some sort of exclusivity deal, because there was
that's what I was saying about exclusivity.
There was that stipulation where it said that any deals that are already in place, they had said they would honor those. Mm-hmm. Any kind of exclusivity deals, they would honor that. But there is not necessarily... Call of Duty has never been exclusive to one platform or another. Now, some DLC might have been exclusive, or some sort of bonus might be exclusive, where only PlayStation players get to beta test this, or get early access, or whatever the case may be.
Right.
There's been little stipulations like that, but the game itself has never been exclusive to one platform that I know of, to what it is now. Yeah, there was a time you could only play it on PC back on the original Call of Duty, but...
well, console-wise, you think it's going to change? That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
It's going to be exclusively on Microsoft systems.
I don't think so.
I mean, it's going to be on PC, but then what's really exclusive if it's on PC as well? You can always get it on PC if need be.
See, I don't think they're going to do that. I think Call of Duty will continue to be multi-platform. Mm-hmm. I think Call of Duty will continue to be multi-platform. I think it's also a possibility that, I think that'll be the one. I can't speak for any of the other franchises that they have. Overwatch.
I'm talking something huge, like Call of Duty, a really, really big popular game like Call of Duty. I mean,
I don't think they will
make it exclusive.
They might, because I think Elder Scrolls is going to go exclusive to Xbox and PC, right?
Maybe. I mean, I wouldn't surprise. Plus, aren't they working on a space one as well?
Yes. Yeah. Not Star Citizen.
No.
I can't remember what the name of it is, but yes, they are. And I'm not sure I don't think that's... Yeah. I don't think COD was ever exclusive for a few years on the 360. I think there may have been maps that were exclusive for a few years on the 360. I think there were exclusive bonuses and stuff like that, but I don't think it was... Yeah, I don't think it was ever exclusive to one system. So yeah, will it stay? Will it stay multi? I don't know. I feel like it will. I feel like that's just a massive game that won't go away. But at the same time, I don't know, because I think with what they're doing with Bethesda. Mm-hmm. With Fallout and with
Starfield.
Yeah, Starfield and Elder Scrolls, I feel like that's going to be exclusive. I think. I don't know. It's a good question. It would shake things up. I imagine there's some sort of deals in place, given the fact that every Call of Duty, or that Call of Duty is a year thing, every year is a new Call of Duty. I don't know how far their contracts were. I don't know how far their deals had been made in advance. Because they knew it was going to be happening every year. Mm-hmm. It's honestly the reason that Microsoft now has a whole bunch of studios, is because outside of a few studios that I listed that they now inherited, most of those were studios working on Call of Duty games because they'd made a yearly release. So while they're working on the one for this year, that same studio couldn't be working on the one for next year. It had to be somebody else. And the studio behind that is working on the one for the year after.
Yeah,
so,
it started just as Infinity Ward went to that and Treyarch, then went to that. And
they're leapfrogging, but leapfrogging like 3 studios every game.
Because High Noon's doing Vanguard, and who's doing the one before it? I don't know. I don't play Call of Duty, so I don't know. But yeah,
out of all those, there's a bunch. Sledgehammer is one that did. Sledgehammer did it. Treyarch did it. What's another one that we mentioned? High Moon did. So High Moon, Infinity Ward, Raven Software, Sledgehammer Games, Treyarch, all working on Call of Duty games. Beanox might even be in there as well.
Is that just primary? Is that not like also including like ports and to other systems?
I think that includes everything. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that. I think there may be a few studios here that only do it. Like, here's the ports. We'll do the ports for this. If that is the case, they may, because they're churning these things out like they are. They may not need a lot of work done to do ports like that. So yeah, that's a good question. I'm very curious as to how that's going to play out. We're way behind. We need to take a break. When we come back, we're going to continue talking about this because there is so much more to look at, unpack, and find out about what's going on here with the Activision Xbox deal. So we'll talk about that. If you want to throw in your questions, you want to get in your calls, would love to hear your comments and your thoughts, give us a call, 334-272-9228, or find us on Discord, and we will put you on the air to talk to us. Would love to know your feelings. Join us in the chat room so you can throw out your opinions there. We'll read them on the air. Music here from the Dead Cells DLC. The Queen, I believe, is the name of the DLC. This is called Beyond Reasoning. We'll be back with more of In-Game Chat right after this. And welcome back to In-Game Chat. Music here from a game called Battle Brothers. This track is called Bone March. All right, still going over the news of Activision and Blizzard getting bought by Microsoft. Nabokov sent a few links here about Microsoft's past. What happened to 12 of gaming's biggest studios after they were sold? EA buys Maxis. Well, we know what happened. They tried to do a new SimCity, and that kind of failed.
Nowhere.
Yeah. EA bought Westwood Studios. And Westwood put out some more Command & Conquer games, but the sales Teetered out with Renegade and failed MMO Earth and Beyond. EA dissolves Westwood Studios shortly after, yeah. Ensemble Studios, Microsoft bought them in 2001. That's Age of Mythology releases. The Titans followed suit. Age of Empires 3. 2 expansions follow. Microsoft announces Ensemble will close after the release of Halo Wars. Halo Wars releases to generally favorable reviews and sells well. Ensemble is permanently shuttered. Yep. Activision bought Treyarch, and now they are just working on Call of Duty. Microsoft bought Rare. They did Sea of Thieves, so that's still going on. Microsoft bought Lionhead. That one closed down for the Fable stuff. EA bought BioWare. EA bought PopCap. Microsoft purchases Mojang. We know what happened there. I'm just specifically looking at the Microsoft purchases here. Even though I mentioned some of the others there. Mojang, they're doing fine. Oh, wow, that was $2.5 billion, but that was back in 2014 that they bought that. Lionhead, they closed. And what was that other one I mentioned? Ensemble, they closed. So just at a glance here, two studios they closed down after they bought them. Let's see. There's another article here. Every single studio that Microsoft has bought. FASA Studios, there you go, the one you were talking about. That was the
BattleTech, MechWarrior.
It was MechWarrior, but it was also Crimson Skies. They're the developers on that. Founded in 95, bought in 99, and closed in 2007. Bungie, we know what happened there. Digital Anvil. I don't remember them at all.
I remember them. I think they're the ones that did, if I'm not mistaken, Starlancer.
Yep. You're exactly right.
Such a good game.
They closed that studio. They bought in 2000. They closed in 2006.
Yeah.
There's Ensemble Studios. We mentioned them. Rare is still going. Lionhead closed. Big Park. I don't know what that is. They were bought in 2009. They're still going. Twisted Pixel. They were bought in 2011, but from what I understand, they got out of that deal with Microsoft and went on their own. So they're still going. Press Play Studios. Those closed in 2016. Mojang still going on. So yeah, I was just looking at that. I don't know. It doesn't seem too bad. I don't think there's probably going to be some studios that get shuttered in that.
I'm sure.
They have
Some restructuring.
Oh, easily. There has to be. We already know that it's very likely that Bobby Kotick is gone after it takes over. That'll be interesting to see as well, how they handle the situation that Activision was already in. None of that has been mentioned.
Was it just hostile work environment?
Yeah, there was that. There was it was under a general umbrella, yes, hostile work environment, sexual harassment, all that stuff going on as well. And it was a lot of seedy and shady things that the higher ups in Activision were doing. So you're going to see a mass exodus of management there.
Yeah. Probably some contract payoff and get him out of there just to go away.
Oh no, he's leaving with the most golden of parachutes.
Yeah,
Bobby will be.
Yeah,
he's going to get at least $300 million when he is let go.
Yeah,
per his contract.
Yeah, that's what I mean. His contract's going to take care of him. He'll be fine.
Now that does not count his stocks and everything else that he holds on to.
Yeah,
because he won't lose any of that. He'll just keep making money off of that. So yeah, I mean, he's going to be gone. It's in a sense, ding dong, the witch is dead, but
he'll be all right.
Which is just kind of gone.
Yeah.
He'll be fine.
He will be. He doesn't need to be, though. Is my problem.
He ain't the first. He ain't going to be the last.
I know.
So
I know.
Don't get mad about it.
I know. And it's likely, even if they didn't buy it, he still would be getting away with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway, you were asking me about the prices on Xbox.
Yeah, I was asking about the price of Game Pass and the math between, like we were talking about the possibility of something with us.
Yeah, because you were thinking like, will they somehow?
Yeah, I was thinking about something as big as Call of Duty, the possibility of it. You said there's no way it's going to happen because of Game Pass history. You've had Game Pass for a while, right? I've never had Game Pass. I don't know anything about it, but I was just thinking about with the deal going down, the exclusivity of it, and something a title as big as Call of Duty, the possibility of them acquiring the studio.
Right.
And then the newest Call of Duty comes out. They have it available for purchase, full price, on their on PC, on their consoles for about 6 months. Doing it for 6 months or whatever,
and then
put it on Game Pass later after 6 months, because a game like Call of Duty, people pick it up immediately, day one. They're going to do that, and when the numbers go down, eventually it goes on Game Pass. I was just thinking that was a possibility.
Right? No. You're thinking in terms of PlayStation Plus, because that's how it works on PlayStation Plus. 6 months window is relatively short for a game to release and then hit PlayStation Plus. I think there probably has been games that have done that, though, for Sony. But
Game Pass day one.
Game Pass is different than that. And it's one of the benefits, again, you can't go into a store and pick up a box of Game Pass and flip it over and see all the highlights of what it is. It's not like that. But if it were in that regard, the marketing points that they want to make have to somehow beat the marketing points that Sony would want to make on what they're offering. So Sony offers PlayStation Plus, and you get these many games per month for free, plus you get your online stuff and that sort of thing. There's a finite list of how many things you're getting with that if you want to list out the games or just that you get 4 games. Because their points here for Game Pass are play over 100 high-quality games on console, PC, and mobile devices. That's if you do the Ultimate, which is, by the way, $15 a month.
Okay.
That covers PC and console in that one. If you want to split them up and just do PC or just do console, it's $10 either way.
Okay.
And again, either way, and let me look here. Yeah, on both, if you go just console or just PC, you still have access to over 100 games for the month. And they say over 100. There is a number that they could give you there. So there's that. You can do them right now. New games added all the time. Xbox Game Studio titles the same day as release. That's a big one.
Okay.
Because all of those studios I just listed are now Xbox Game Studios. So that would mean that their Call of Duty stuff would be under Game Pass. I don't see them changing that. I really don't. It would surprise me. It would really surprise me if they did exactly what you had mentioned.
I said, the only thing that got me thinking about that is the exclusivity now, because Call of Duty was on multi-platform all over the place.
Yeah.
Now it's not. Possibly not.
Right, but even if it is, you can play it on Game Pass on Microsoft's console, or you can buy it for PlayStation.
PlayStation.
Yeah. You could also buy it in store if you want to, if you don't subscribe to Game Pass. You know, if you're not a Game Pass subscriber, these games are still available for you to buy. That doesn't they don't jump that, you know. They don't restrict you from doing that.
I believe in the Game Pass you could actually, if you have Game Pass, you could also buy it. That way if it does leave Game Pass, you'll have the copy permanently.
Right, but if it's an Xbox Game Studio, if it's a Microsoft published game, it doesn't leave Game Pass. This doesn't mean that every single game that Microsoft has ever done is on Game Pass. But for the most part, it covers a lot. I mean, it covers a good bit of ground on what they've got. And somebody could look this up because I'm not sure. I don't think every single Microsoft game is available on Game Pass. Obviously, if you can't play it anymore on a Series X or an Xbox One, that sort of thing, like you don't have Midtown Madness on the list. I could play that on the original Xbox, but that's not on there. Crimson Skies is not. Actually, you know what? Crimson Skies might be on. It might actually be on there because I think it's backwards compatible, and so Crimson Skies may still be on Game Pass. So yeah, that another thing like that. If it's not backwards compatible, then obviously it's not going to be there. But I believe if it can be played on an Xbox One or an Xbox Series X or Series S, that it's available to you on Game Pass if it is a Microsoft-produced game. So that's another one of their promotional marks. Exclusive member discounts and deals, play games from the cloud, free perks including in-game content and partner offers. It also includes a gold membership, which lets you play online multiplayer, and it comes with EA Play, which gives you access to all of the EA games as well. Now, I don't know how long that's going to stay, but probably Microsoft will probably keep that in deal. It's another massive amount of games to say, here's all the stuff you have access to with Game Pass. Here's what you don't get by just being on Sony's PlayStation Plus type thing. You know, it's just a way to bring people over, and I think that's exactly the reason they bought. They didn't buy. They bought it to get access to these games, but what they bought it for was to inflate Game Pass, to put more, just to build Game Pass up into this massive thing that just provides, provides a massive amount of value to Xbox owners, I guess, or to even PC owners, because you can do it the other way. You can do it on PC, which is a great thing that they have. Although that whole, I'm still not. What is the word? Confident about installing some of those titles on PC.
What is that?
I've read too many things about sometimes when you install games through Game Pass on PC, you don't get rid of them.
Oh, that extra thing that was stuck on your computer after. Yeah,
Right.
yeah. There was a title that was putting a bunch of extra stuff on your computer, and when you try to get rid of the game, that extra stuff that came with it is still on your computer.
It'll tell you it's gone, but there's still stuff there that you can't get rid of.
Yeah.
There's a problem with that, and it doesn't happen to everybody.
Okay.
There's a chance of it happening to anybody, and there's a chance of it happening anytime you install a game.
Yeah.
That it could end up sticking there.
Because I know the Mist on Game Pass wasn't VR.
Yeah.
And when Kevin and I were playing The Ascent, I had it on Game Pass and he had it on Steam, and they didn't quite talk. So there are some, little things about it.
Oh, is the environment? I was curious about that. If I buy Sea of Thieves on Steam, can I play? Which I never would. Can I then play with people who have it on?
We had a hard time connecting The Ascent, but
Game
that was
Pass.
just that one game, Because
Yeah.
in fact, also Wasteland 3. We had
That's on Game Pass, right?
Yeah, but we both had to get it on Game Pass so we could play it together.
That's interesting. Sort of. In a way, it's not. In a way, it is. In a way, it's not, because.
And it could just be bad luck on our part.
Well, for instance, Destiny, right? Mm-hmm. If you're playing Destiny on Stadia, you're locked into that
the
platform.
one?
Yeah, you're locked into that.
Yeah.
Now, it does have cross-play now, so you can play with other people who are cross-play type of thing. But if it didn't, you were locked into playing just Stadia. There's the Stadia environment, and then there's the PC environment, if that's the case. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or take a look at, and I don't know this as well, games that are available on Steam that have multiplayer, and games that are played that are available on Epic that have multiplayer. If they're the same game, do those mix? Are you just stuck with the Epic Games people who own it, or are you just stuck?
I haven't tried that. Yeah, exactly.
I don't know.
The only game I have on the Epic Store that I always keep on and play is Hitman 3.
Which also has VR support, by the way.
Just now.
Yep.
I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah, you should. What am I
It's
missing
on my
in the
list.
What am I missing in the chat room here? Very interesting breakdown of it all. By some quotes from upper management and former employees. Crimson Skies is on Game Pass, by the way. Currently 445 games on the console Game Pass and 404 games on PC Game Pass. Mm-hmm. That's a lot.
Where's the 41 extra games?
The what?
There's a difference of 41. I was wondering where the...
There are some, But yeah, does the PC Game Pass also come with it? Yes, it does. EA Play. By the way, the PC game, that's interesting. PC Game Pass, just by itself, $10 a month. Mm-hmm. You get access to EA Play. Console Game Pass, just by itself, is $10 a month. You do not have access to EA Play. Only through Ultimate do you get the access to EA Play. So I thought that was interesting. Let's see. Microsoft's video game strategy depends on having exclusive in-house titles to build up its subscription service, Game Pass, for which users pay a monthly fee to access. Phil Spencer said that he sees a major growth opportunity. Players everywhere love Activision Blizzard games. We believe the creative teams have their best work in front of them. Together we'll build a future where people can play the games they want virtually anywhere they want. Game Pass is just gonna. It's just gonna be massive.
Yeah,
it is going to be massive. As to how big that is going to be whenever that goes through. Yeah, they're going to have to honor exclusivity deals, like you said. just like they did with Bethesda. They bought Bethesda, but there was an exclusivity deal with Deathloop. Deathloop was exclusive to PlayStation for a year, which means that game was not going to... You can't go buy it for Xbox on the store, in a physical store. You can't buy it at all. It is not available for Xbox yet. But when that year runs out...
Yeah, we get it.
It'll be on Game Pass.
Yeah.
So, and it'll be available to buy. So maybe you don't have a Game Pass subscription, but you can buy a physical copy to play on Xbox. There's copies of Halo sitting out there that you can go buy, physical copies of Halo to play. Or you can get Game Pass and play it right now.
Yeah.
So, do I think games are going to come to Game Pass but also be on other systems? Of course. Do I think that they're going to own these games and not put them on Game Pass but also put them out for people to buy for that same system? That would really, really surprise me. It really would. It really would. I don't think it's something that's going to happen. I would love to give you an example of something where that's already happened. Yeah. I can't think of one, though.
I'm just thinking of maximizing profits, though.
See, that's the thing. And it's weird. They'll maximize their profits by getting more people to subscribe to Game Pass. And I think that's what they want them to do. I think in a long-term situation, if you have a subscriber count, that's more money than it is selling games individually.
The whole point I was trying to make with this was that a title that is so big that they would try to do that with. Remember, like I said a while back about Street Fighter, it was a game big enough that could get away with putting multiple seasons out there to get players to play like that. Call of Duty, I'm thinking, is big enough to try something like that. But you said it's probably not likely, but I'm thinking that they might try it with this new exclusivity deal.
The only reason that I tell you that it's not likely is, especially with Call of Duty, it's just too high-profile a title not to say, by the way, Call of Duty is free to play. In a sense of, if you have Game Pass, it'll be there day one.
I'm kind of now thinking about because I've had Game Pass in the past. I'm thinking about redoing.
Do you not have Game Pass now?
I don't.
You let it lapse, yeah.
Yeah, I did. But since Call of Duty Ghosts, how old is that game? That game came out years ago, right?
Yeah.
I played Ghost. I played it a little bit and I enjoyed it. It's still on Steam. I think $50. It never, their prices for those.
That's
games.
another thing to look at.
2015.
I think you'll actually finally see these prices.
2013.
Oh, geez.
I think
it's still $50.
Yeah,
I think so.
It's ridiculous.
It was ridiculous. Yeah.
I remember. What was that old game? Heavenly Sword.
Yeah.
On Sony. That game never dropped in price.
It was horrible.
No.
Horrible.
And it never dropped in price.
I mean, the game wasn't bad. It was the fact that it
never the price never dropped.
It never came down.
The older it got, it never came down.
Nor did that Dragon game either.
Oh,
yeah.
I can't remember what it was. But that one where it was a
you
horrible game.
The 6 access to do
it never dropped in price, huh?
Lair.
Okay,
yeah.
But so all those Call of Duty games are still full price, I believe, on Steam, and that's why I never bought them, because I'm like, that game's almost.
I will say
this:
there's a possibility of some of the previous Call of Duty games not being on Game Pass just because they don't have server support or anything else anymore. Yeah. They've shut them down, so you can't really do the multiplayer. So, I think we see Call of Duty Modern Warfare on the very first one on Game Pass.
I'm not saying current Call of Duty. I'm saying the next Call of Duty that comes out will be so big enough they will try something like that in the future. That's what I'm trying to say.
I don't think they will. But it'll be interesting to see, but I don't think they will.
All right.
Let's grab Chris, and I'm sorry to hold him so long. Hey, Chris.
What's going on?
Hey.
Well, we're talking Xbox and Activision.
Yeah, just as long as they still release Diablo 4 on all consoles and PCs, I'll be happy. But I'm fearing for that one since it's about a couple years down the road from what I'm thinking.
Well, I mean. Do you don't have an Xbox, or you do? Or
no, I don't.
No, you don't. Yeah. That's
You said it finalized in June, right?
Yeah,
June or July.
They're expecting it to be finished maybe about at the end of next year, or maybe early 2024, possibly.
Didn't you buy an Xbox from me?
Yeah, but it's just sitting on the shelf. But
so you do own an Xbox?
Yeah, I just don't have it hooked up, and I don't use it.
Oh, okay. Well, you're free to use it if you want to. But yeah, so is that something you'll just never Will you never own an Xbox, or will you think you might?
I've never been liking the Xbox. I got one originally years ago when it came out, and I just never have liked it that much, and didn't find that many good exclusives on there to make it worthwhile even getting one. Mm-hmm. But I just wanted to get one, since you were wanting to sell yours, just for collectability's sake, to have it complete in the box and, to stick them on the shelf, for my collection.
Which version of Xbox did you sell?
It's an X. Which one did you get? The Battlefield version?
No, it was the original one when it first came out.
But is it?
That's right.
The new Xbox?
No. He got the OG Xbox with the Kinect.
Oh,
yeah, he got that one. He got the day one version of the Xbox from 2014, I think it was.
Yeah, I used to own the original system too when it first came out, and of course at that time I had limited internet and all the different things and everything, picky things that I didn't just like about it, and I just wanted to trade in and get other things for it, and then get something else collectible that I appreciated more than the system.
Hmm. Is this the one? Is this the huge, the original Xbox, not the one with the huge controllers?
No. This is the original Xbox One.
Oh, okay. I'm about to say.
Yeah, remember the one they came out and they said, "Hey, look, it controls your TV and everything else," and you sign in with it by looking at the Kinect, and it has motion controls where you can change the channel or pick this stuff up. Yeah, that one. Yeah, when you say $500 console that released when Sony came out and said, "Oh no, it's only going to cost you $300 or $400 for our system,"
and you don't have to be online.
Right, that was the other thing. There was that whole
and if
situation.
you want to share games, this is all you got to do is just hand it to somebody.
Yeah. and Chris, you make a point here, and we've got to go here in just a bit because we're way behind. The reason, exactly what you just said about the original system, $500, Sony coming in lower than that, the whole you have to be online to do all this, that was a fumble for Microsoft, and I think they have been trying to Band-Aid that whole thing the entire time. And I think they found that with Game Pass.
Yeah.
I think they found a way to, and oddly enough, it's an all digital thing.
Yeah.
It's one of those situations where they said, the console is going to be linked. There was a point where we thought that it wasn't even going to have a disk drive. It was going to be all digital. Or that they would split it up, kind of like they did with Sony.
Yeah.
Like we're going to have a digital version and we're going to have a disc version. And there was that point where we thought they're going to make it to where it's going to be all digital, and they didn't. But that's what they turned Game Pass into, an all-digital game library.
And have you thought what they're thinking about maybe down the road, thinking 40, 50 years down the road where maybe they can do something like Stadia and have all the games and backup for it, and then maybe make a digital online service to play games, like Game Passes, make it all in one bundle where, hey, just, like bring your controller over or something, just hook up to the internet, and then you can just play whatever you want to.
Yeah, I don't know where they're planning to go. We'll have to speculate that on when we come back from this break here. But
the one of the new games I've been playing here recently since Tuesday, it just came out on the consoles except Switch, is Dismantle, DYS, Mantle.
Yeah.
Zombie overhead, like Diablo role-playing game. Lord, I love that game. It is fantastic. Yeah, it's addictive.
Oh, okay. Well, that's great, man, and we appreciate you calling in. I'm sorry to cut you so short. It's one of those rambling things because I saw you on hold here. But anyway, thanks for calling in, man, and have a great week.
All right, same to y'all.
Take care.
Take care now.
Bye.
We're going to take a break because we're way behind, and we'll come back and talk more about this. Music here from Windjammers 2, which came out just recently here, I believe.
Yeah, I think I'm going to pick that up. I think I got from Limited Run Games. I got the physical edition.
Oh, the physical edition? Yeah, nice. We'll be right back. And welcome back to In-Game Chats. Music here from Nobody Saves the World.
Kind of a dismal title.
I know, right? Nobody Saves the World. And
unless the character's name is Nobody.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
The track on this is called Empty Eyes. Mm-hmm. So who knows? But that's where this music comes from. All right, we're still on the subject of Microsoft buying Activision and Blizzard. We're probably going to be talking about this as well next week.
Because a lot of people are going to be talking about it all through the.
It's the biggest acquisition in gaming. The biggest one prior to this was the one that we had talked about last week. Take-Two buying Zynga, that online, They bought Zynga. That was the next biggest, or that was the biggest for all of a week.
Yeah, until this one popped up. Yeah,
it was all of a week, and it's mostly a cash deal. Mm-hmm. $70 billion. Most of it is like a cash-like deal. So it's massive. Mm-hmm. What have I been missing in the? Well, let me turn on the Discord chat anyway. What have I been missing in our chat room? EA's market cap's $39 billion. Watch Microsoft pay $50 billion cash to buy them too. I just hate the crap that Microsoft has put me through to even go that way. They are the worst of the worst for me and have been for a very long time. More things for me to pay for. No thanks. Oh, what? I must have missed. Yeah, I will say that this acquisition puts Microsoft in third place as far as generating revenue, or whatever the case may be. Like, you even combine this with everything else that Microsoft has, you put that in there, and it moves them only to third place behind Tencent out of, is that China or Japan? Do you know, Matt?
I want to say.
What's that?
Tencent, Tencent, the company Tencent.
I'm not sure.
It may be Korea.
Founded in 98, headquartered in Shenzhen, China.
It's China. Never mind, it's China. Well, see, I remember them because they bought they're one of the big funding backers for Top Gun 2, and they had to remove a flag that was on his jacket.
Yes.
Right. The Rising Sun, I believe.
Of Taiwan.
Yeah. That's what it was.
It was the Taiwanese flag.
Yes, you're exactly right. Anyway.
Also the reason why a lot of movie stars like John Cena, make apology videos, or here's this, random weird, Chinese milk in the Transformers movie that nobody in America has really ever heard of.
I watched that episode of Last Week Tonight as well. When he went over that whole situation.
Yeah. I mean, but, hey, they are a rising market of, importance. And so, I could see why companies would sort of, cater to that.
Yeah, Tencent is huge.
They go to where the money is.
Net income of $36.4 billion.
Yeah.
In 2017.
Yeah. No, Tencent and Sony are the top two. Mm-hmm. They're the top two, and then Microsoft. Sony's still at number one. Mm-hmm. And because apparently in Europe they are massive over in Europe. So the PlayStation brand is just huge in Europe. And
I mean, Europe and the Xbox brand never really, I don't think it really caught off in Japan like they were hoping.
Yeah, it didn't do good. Yeah, they didn't do good in Japan at all.
No.
Yeah.
I mean, because, they just, they didn't.
Yeah, Japan was basically mobile gaming and still got a few arcades there.
They do.
They didn't have much of a home console market, really.
Yeah.
I guess.
Microsoft struggling globally compared to Sony dramatically explains their focus on software service versus product. Yeah, Sony's been able to. Sony in Europe is apparently very, very big. Mm-hmm. Microsoft has a problem getting into those markets.
I can understand why, as Americans, we're just so used to thinking the world revolves around us, and so when you hear, Sony's big in Europe, it doesn't really factor into it because we're just so used to our way of life. I mean, that makes sense.
Nintendo's massive in Japan.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, here it's it's the little
Right. I don't even know where Nintendo is on that list when we were talking about that, where it goes Sony, Tencent, Microsoft.
Yeah.
I don't even know where Nintendo falls in that. But, of course, if you go into a different market, like if you go into the Japanese market, I have no idea what it is, but Nintendo is going to be in the top 3 easily.
Heck, they're making a Nintendo Land in Japan.
Or in the or just number 1. I don't know. But it's different depending on which market you look at. But in the States... Or in the, I guess, worldwide, that's where they find themselves is Sony, Tencent, and Microsoft, or one of the other two, but Microsoft in third. Mm-hmm. So that's where they find themselves, even after this purchase. They're still in third place. Now, I don't know what will happen after this all settles in and subscriptions go up, subscriptions go down. I'm sure they're expecting their Game Pass subscriptions to increase. Mm-hmm. You wouldn't expect them to decrease in that regard. Game Pass, there's the reason that they build this backbone for Game Pass is because it'll no longer, like when you look at Sony and you look at just the PlayStation brand, you'll say, well, we have the God of War series, we've got the Horizon series, because we own these studios that make this, we've got the Uncharted series, the Last of Us series. They were always, and this was very easy to do against Microsoft, they were always able to say, well, look at our first-party titles here, look at what they do, look at how well they've done, and you can only find them here.
Yeah, the exclusives move systems, so that's what Sony was excelling at for the longest time.
And Microsoft really couldn't compete against that. There was and there was a time, you can go back and listen to our shows that we did after an E3 where I'm like, man, Sony had all this stuff to show off, but Microsoft didn't have this stuff to show off other than maybe they bought another studio. They didn't have stuff from there. When you thought about Microsoft first-party titles, your head went to Halo and Gears of War. Mm-hmm. For most people, it still goes in that direction. Halo, Gears of War. But, of course, there's more. There's the Forza Motorsport series, the Forza Horizon, Forza that. There is, and now, of course, there's a lot more than that as well. Flight Simulator series. There is the Age of Empires. I know that they own that company now, of course.
But, Age of Empires that's been a Microsoft
game
since the very beginning.
Yeah. And they haven't done really anything with it other than a few remasters, except for now, I think Age of Empires 4, I believe, got released.
I guess, yeah.
I think they're at 4 now.
Because 3 was that was years ago.
Yeah. But Sony had a really good library of, here's our exclusives, and you could look to that and see, remember when I used to tell people, well, you got to see what games on the system are right for you if you want to buy that system.
Yeah. Because I think we were talking about a time with PS5, and a whole bunch of stuff that got piqued people's interest, and Xboxes was like, it was nice. It didn't have a whole lot of exclusives on there compared to Sony's, but Game Pass, having Game Pass available, that's the problem. That's
a problem.
That was the benefit.
That was the point I was getting to, was that they don't have to rely on...
They didn't have to rely on exclusive titles. They had the Game Pass.
Halo didn't have to be a system seller anymore.
Yeah.
Game Pass becomes a system seller. Mm-hmm. A subscription service now becomes the system seller instead of a specific game to it. Mm-hmm. It's all the games that you now have access to. Mm-hmm. Puts it in more of, God, I hate to say this. It sounds so cliche because I think everybody's used it, but it's the easiest way to sort of look at it. You've now got like your Netflix for gaming, even though Netflix already has a gaming thing. But it sort of becomes that way where you pay this price and you have access to all of this. What would you say? How many games would you say you had to play to get your money's worth out of that? Because look, Netflix has like thousands of titles. You're not going to watch thousands of titles on there. You're going to watch like a few. Well, the cost of a game. I can pay $15 and play Halo right now. Mm-hmm. I can go through and I can play the campaign.
You can pay $9. If you just want it for one,
even one game, for just that, game, I can pay $9
for the one system.
I can pay $10 for that month, play that game, or as many of them as I want to, beat them. I'm only out $10 instead of $60 for that.
It.
Yeah.
So and only that.
There's your difference.
Money. Yeah. Okay.
And so that, but again, you have to buy the console to play that unless you already have a PC, and you can do that. Mm-hmm. Not every first party title gets the PC treatment. Although I think Microsoft is pushing more and more in that direction, where if we've got first-party titles, they will get released on our consoles and the PC.
And PC, yeah.
Wait, what was that difference? What was that difference you said, Matt? 41 game difference between
41 game
PC
difference.
and
Yeah.
So
But,
some console exclusives then, I guess.
But I mean, Psychonauts 2 was day one PC
And day one console.
Yeah, there have been plenty of games that when I did have the Game Pass that like PC, like right then I'm like I'd look at them new games. I'm like,
Which I've heard good things about Psychonauts 2. By the way,
it was a lot of fun.
Okay, I thought you had played it and finished it. Yeah, but
if you like the first Psychonauts,
it just puts so much more power behind at least their marketing of their platforms. You know, they're going to market the price of entry though. We talk about that. The price of entry to Game Pass is, as we mentioned, it can be anywhere from $10 to $15 added on to the cost of the console or the PC if you want to go that way.
Yeah.
So, but at the same time, if you're looking at Sony and Microsoft, if you're going to buy a PlayStation, good luck. If you're going to buy a PlayStation 5 or a Microsoft or an Xbox Series X, and you look at the game library for them, if you look at Game Pass, it's just going to, value-wise, it's going to kill anything Sony has to offer. But of course, if the games are, I got to play Last of Us or I got to play God of War, well, then that's made up for you. You're going to go Sony directly. But if you're strictly looking at this game, this console has more of the games I like to play, plus I only have to pay $15 a month to play them. Go that route. Yeah, it's interesting. What are we looking here? Batman Brian says, to continue the Netflix comparison, do you think Microsoft will raise Game Pass prices eventually? Eventually, yeah, I think they will raise the price. I don't know when that'll happen, but I think eventually they will. It will not happen before June of next year. It will probably not happen before June of 24. Right, because the value here is that they can say, for $15 a month, you now have access to all of these games.
Later on, they'll sneakily in the night just be like, oh, by the way.
Yeah, of course.
But initially, they want to get the people in there.
Yeah.
So if they say, oh, look what we got, and the price is going up, that might dissuade people.
No, I think it's inevitable that their price is going to go
up.
up.
Yeah.
It's
but
just going to be a
now.
long time before that happens.
Get the people, you got to give the first bet free to get the people hooked. Then you get raise prices.
Yeah, Lethal Migrant says a lot more than 41 games that are different. Lots of PC only and console.
I was just going by the numbers, not by the titles.
Nabago says you pay a sub, you're at the whim of the company. You don't own anything. Correct me if I'm wrong. No, you don't.
No, you're right.
No, you don't own any of it. Again, call me an old man, but I want to get my PC game box 5 to 10 years from now and have it work. Most things don't that I have from older machine eras. All of my old console stuff does. Consoles are very different beasts. Delve into the system, digital model. You can go get Humble Bundle for a year and get how many games? Yeah, it's a big number, but what are you actually playing?
Yeah.
What will you actually play? I agree with you.
I mean, like, the big thing I noticed when I had Game Pass is hard drive space. Between Steam, between Origin, EA, Ubisoft, and Game Pass, like, I just don't have the hard drive space for everything I want. So, just a constant juggle between that. But, there might be a game that you really like, and if they decide to take it off after a while, Netflix does it all the time. With like, oh, what's leaving next Netflix this month? And well, I kind of want to watch that.
But not their first party, right?
Yeah.
Not the ones that they make themselves, that they put the financing behind. It's still up there. I think something actually did get removed that Netflix funded and was a Netflix thing. Well, it was co-done because I think some of the Disney stuff got pulled, right?
I think
some of the Marvel Disney stuff.
I'm not sure.
Some of the later stuff, like the Luke Cage and a couple of others.
And I know, like Paramount. I think the Paramount stuff, like the Star Treks. Those are
Star Trek was gone. Yeah, I remember.
Yeah, because those went to Paramount Plus.
Yeah, but I think I thought the Marvel stuff was exclusive to Netflix. And then I think that deal ended, and I think they pulled some of it out of there, from what I understand. But the other stuff that Netflix does, that they make, I think it stays there. And I think
you're talking about like the Luke Cage and the
Daredevil, Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Defenders, that sort of thing. All of that.
I think Marvel just kind of
something of that got
they disowned that.
Pulled. Yeah, I can't remember.
After Iron Fist, they're like, yeah, we don't know these things.
Yeah. Consoles have to be online even for most offline games. You own almost nothing. It all depends on servers being up. Yeah,
that's one of the things that annoyed me about Hitman 3 is it's constantly online. If their servers go down, you can't play the game.
There's no offline. There's no offline aspect.
No.
To Wow.
I couldn't play Destiny this morning.
But
Destiny servers were down. I couldn't play this morning. They were down for a while. They're still, as of 4 o'clock, they were still having issues.
That is a multiplayer game.
Yeah, it is.
Hitman 3 is just like it's a single player. It's just me doing my thing.
So why would it have to be? If that's the case, why would it have to be online only? Really? Yeah.
Because of leaderboards and other stuff. It is online only.
Also, ownership verification.
Yeah, that's a part of it as well.
Yeah.
So, if their servers are down and you can't connect to the server, you can't play the game.
Yeah, there's also some kind of copy protection, which is why it has to connect to verify that you are the owner.
And they'll do that periodically through the game, too, where oh, hey, we lost connection, and it just pauses. And you're like, I was in the middle of trying to do something.
Yeah, I just never associated story-based games or whatnot on online-only things like that. Because if I'm playing a story-based game, I'm not thinking about leaderboard online, anything like that. I'm just trying to get through the story in the best way I can.
Right. No, it's going to be big for them, and I'm expecting them to. Gotta be E3 will be interesting this year, even though it's online only. I don't necessarily know that they can even mention this, but I mean they can. Everybody knows about it, but the fact that it won't take effect until next year. Don't expect them to mention anything. You know what I'm saying? At E3 or whatever. Don't expect them to say, unless, I don't know. It depends. If everything gets approved ahead of time, if they're done, if they go through all the government checks, if everything is done and they're like, yes, this is good, it will happen next year, expect them to mention something at E3 to say that, don't forget, coming next year, we're going to expand to these. They'll have something in place. Nice little, there'll be a nice video presentation. There'll be all this great stuff to welcome in the whole Activision Blizzard thing. Maybe. This also may be dependent on what happens.
Public perception of Activision after the fallout.
Yeah, if any more stuff keeps happening with this whole issue that Activision have.
You said he's trying to hide stuff. And in this age, it's kind of hard. But it's kind of hard to hide stuff in this day and age now. So,
well, I would imagine at this point they hopefully they hit everything they need to, because there is also something in Bobby's contract that says if he is fired with cause, then his umbrella, his little parachute shrinks dramatically. Now, obviously, stock options are going to be okay, and also. He'll only get $23,000. I think it's $23,000 if he's fired with cause. $23K is all he'll get, as opposed to $300 million that he's going to get when he leaves. But if something were to come out like that, I don't know. Who knows? They have a whole year to either make sure nothing does or get completely exposed. Regardless, Microsoft's still going to buy them, and Microsoft can still make the statement that we don't own them yet. This is under them. When they come under us, we will do all of these things, blah, blah, blah. That's going to show a lot of, I don't want to say good faith, but that'll show a lot of what their intent is, I suppose. And I believe their intent is going to be, look, this is the magnifying glass is on this company because of what happened there. So either we need to remove the magnifying glass by fixing it, or coming up with something that diverts the attention from this. Diverting the attention, I think, is a bad idea, because that's just sweeping it under the rug, possibly not addressing it. And that is something that needs to be done. And I think they understand that they're going to have to address that in some way or another. And not only address it, but also because what was the other thing I had in here? Raven Software still has an intent to unionize the QA testers to do it. Yeah, they still are trying to do that, and Microsoft, I think, is still saying, by all means, go ahead and do that. Activision does not want them to do that, that I know of. But Yeah, from what I understand, Microsoft's perfectly fine with them doing that. Oh goodness, what is the chat room is getting ahead of me again. I'll read through that while we take this break here. We'll come back with more of in-game chat. I am playing through Mass Effect again, very, very, very slowly. The remaster, because it's on Game Pass,
yes,
and I get it under EA Play. So yeah,
I have that. And I'm I just got to the Citadel.
Same for Mass Effect 1.
Yeah,
same.
And it's just a matter of just like there's a lot of reading. I forgot how much.
It's exactly what you put.
I forgot how much just talking
It's
and reading
much.
and talking. And
Too much as an observer. Way too much.
just going through all right, the dialogue box. I'm like, all right, I forgot about all that.
There's a lot. But there's a reason for that.
Yes,
you know?
because it is a lore-heavy, story-heavy game.
But the other thing that makes that okay, or at least that makes it for me digestible, is the voice acting.
Oh yeah,
So
I'm assuming
you can have
assuming you're doing FemShep.
I let her pick everything. So I don't let her pick the dialogue options.
No, but like
because sometimes there's not enough time to go through that.
Yeah.
And
are you doing FemShep?
Yeah. So
because it's the better of the two.
Yeah. Well, when we modeled it, we're like, okay, what do you picked her name and that sort of thing, and because red hair anyway.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, well, that's how. I mean, I think that's the default. Redheaded.
Yeah.
Female shepherd. I mean, that's why I always played.
Yeah, and so when we went through the different, like, what's her background and all this other stuff, she picked all of that. But otherwise, I'm playing through the game. But what I realized is that this would be harder to get through if the voice acting wasn't so good.
Oh yeah, no.
And it's a situation where, hey, we've written a whole bunch of dialogue.
Yeah.
So we could have gotten the stiffest of performances because there is so much to record. But nope. They put their
every line feels like it is.
They put their acting hat on. Yeah,
acting,
exactly. Exactly. And that's because I can tell you, juxtaposed between the visual that I'm seeing, the animations are stiff as a board when they're talking to you and doing this.
They're just sort of dead. Yeah.
Like we're coming from playing Hellblade. And we're also, and she and I are also going back. Well, I'm going back basically, and she's watching me go back through the Uncharted series.
Oh, okay.
And after Hellblade, it looks so stiff and boring.
Right. Especially on Mass Effect, because you're going even further back on that. But that'll all change once. Well, Uncharted 2 has already changed a little bit of it. It'll change again for 3, and it will dramatically change
4
for Uncharted 4. Massively,
which I'll be picking up on the PC.
Well, that comes out next Friday. The Lost Leg or whatever it is.
Because I've never played Lost Legacy, but anyways, yes.
What do you have of that series?
All of it.
You own it on disc or you own it through
disc?
Okay.
I got Uncharted. I've got everything on disc, and I've only played one.
So Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy you have on disc.
A disc, yeah.
Okay. From what I understand, we got to take a break. When we come back, I'm going to talk about this because it's something I didn't know, and I only found out just a few days ago about doing an upgrade on this, depending on what you own. And so we're going to cover that here, just as a PSA for people. That'll be after we come back. Music here from Mass Effect. It is, of course, the main theme. We'll be right back.
I love this.
I know, right after this. Welcome back to In-Game Chat. Music here from Mushroom Wars 2. It is the main theme as composed and played by the developers, actually. Some of the developers are in a band.
Oh, of course.
And so they recorded this main theme in this version. There is like a orchestra type version, but they did this mix for it. Anyway, welcome back to the show. Wanted to remind people, yes, the Uncharted Treasure Hunters, I don't know what it's called, but it's Uncharted 4 and Uncharted Lost Legacy are getting both PC releases. Well, no, they're getting a PS5 upgrade this Friday. The PC release on these comes out later on. It's not going to be Friday.
Okay.
Yeah, it does. It releases later on, maybe in a month or 2 months or something like that.
Yeah.
Further into like spring or something is when that'll get released.
The remaster package.
What's it called?
I was looking at an article that said the Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy PS5 remaster package.
Yeah.
It's a launch trailer. It looks incredible. Yeah.
Yep. The interesting thing about that is if you already own the games, it is just a $10 upgrade to the PS5 versions.
Okay.
Here's the interesting part about that. If you got either of those games through PS Plus, through like a free PS Plus offer.
I didn't.
Yeah. But if you got them that way,
Yeah.
you can't do the $10 upgrade.
No. Okay.
Yeah. If you own the disc for either one of those games, you can get the $10 upgrade for both. That's the interesting part. So if you only had Lost Legacy, actually, let's go back. If you had both of those on PS Plus, you couldn't get the upgrade. But I have both discs, Uncharted 4 and Lost Legacy. I could give you one of those discs, and you could get both games for $10.
Interesting.
So I can put my disc into my machine, get both games. Now, you do need the disc to run the games. So it's not something where I could just, pass the disc around so everybody can get their copy for $10.
Yeah.
Because you still need the disc to actually play the game.
Right. Yeah.
Kind of a form of a, like, what am I'm thinking of?
Shareware?
Copyright
Oh.
check. Or, to make sure that you have,
Yeah, exactly.
you have that physical thing for.
Yeah, it's just
that
that's
discount.
what it's doing. Now, if you own the games digitally, if you bought them from the PlayStation Store, you can do the $10 upgrade and get the PS5 versions. That's fine. But if you got
I wish
them,
it could tell me that, like, it could see that I have it on my PlayStation account and give it to me on Steam for $10.
right?
That's what I wish.
Yeah, that won't happen.
Nope.
You have both or one? You just have
I
Uncharted
just
4?
have 4.
Yeah.
I've never played Lost Legacy.
Yeah,
So I'm excited about finally being able to
I
get to play
recently finished that after starting it, I think, in 2017. We looked at the last time I saved a game on that. It was like 2017. And then I played, which is another thing, realizing that Uncharted 4 is a 2016 game. And I've been watching a lot of the trailer because of the trailers for this. There was a massive level breakdown for the chase sequence in Uncharted 4 that was on IGN, talking with developers. And I was looking at that. Like, man, 2016, this looks really good. Just to see like the facial animations.
that. Yeah.
This was a game that came in between Last of Us and Last of Us 2 and then Uncharted 4 right in the middle of it. So we knew what they could do like with Last of Us, and then they really took it to a different level with Uncharted 4, and then Uncharted 4 to Last of Us 2 doesn't really take too much of a jump.
Yeah.
But, oh, man, just looking at that, I'm like, wait, you're 5 years old? You're a 5-year-old
It's just
game?
a fun game. I replayed it last year, and I enjoyed it.
I have not replayed any of the Uncharted. This is my first replay.
Okay.
Going back through, and
I think was because when I got the collector's edition with 1, 2, and 3, I think 1 was the toughest one for me to replay.
I am going through these on the easiest of easy modes.
Just for the story.
It's the Explorer mode. Yeah, because I'm just showing them to her, and
Yeah.
and honestly, I don't feel like going through that headache of,
Some of the gunfights are just.
I've never in these games for the gunfights. I've
Yeah.
never been in the game for the gunfights. I've been in them for
like-
the puzzle and for the
and the
adventure
looking around,
aspect,
the
exploring
scenery,
aspect.
the
Yeah.
everything. Yeah, the
Always.
environment. Yeah.
Never cared for the combat aspect. of those games. So the less of that, the better. And if I have that option when I go through Uncharted 4 to put it on the easiest of easy, I'll do that again as well. So because that's I'm fine. Yeah, I don't need to go through all that again. So yeah, just wanted to put that out as a PSA. If you own either one, Uncharted 4 or Lost Legacy on a disc, you'll get both games for just $10. If you got them through PlayStation Plus, whether you bought a PS5 and it came with that PlayStation Plus collection, which was a bunch of games, then you can't. But if you know somebody who has a disc and is willing to sell it to you for like, cheap or something, just buy it off of them. That's another thing, actually. There's a couple of games right now that you can kind of save money on. Horizon's one where if you can buy the PlayStation 4 version of the game for like $10 less than the PlayStation 5 version.
Yeah. And
the upgrade is free. So just buy the PS4 game if you have a PS5, and then you're going to get the PS5 version.
Okay.
Save yourself $10 for the upgrade. So, oh man,
$9.
Huh?
I was looking at Uncharted 4 on disc for PS4. It was like $9.
Okay, the PlayStation Hits version.
PlayStation Hits version. Anyway.
Yeah, I would imagine. Yeah.
Like you said, it was a 5-year-old. It's a 5-year-old game. Yeah.
Yeah. What did I miss in the chat room there? Sony makes no money on anything but gaming and insurance. Yeah, I know. That's in fact they make more money on their insurance than anything else. In fact, insurance is their bread and butter, which is just the weirdest thing. I've often told people that. I know I do a segment in the Monday through Friday called Random Facts, where it's just a bunch of different facts that I pull off Reddit anyway. But one of those was like Sony's biggest thing. You would think is, it's got to be electronics, video games, things like. No, it's insurance. It is insurance.
I just never would have guessed that.
No, ever.
Sony Life?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, Sony Life. Japanese insurance company founded in 1979, headquartered in Tokyo.
Yep.
But again, outside of the United States, we don't think, we only know them really as one thing.
A joint venture with Prudential Financial pulled in $33.7 billion in 2009 yen, anyway.
Yeah, I did see Sony's stock drop. Sony stock dropped 20. He says 20 billion. Was it billion? I thought it was million. Was it really a billion? Anyway, Sony stock dropped on Tuesday after this announcement.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm sure it'd take a little hit.
Yeah, obviously. That's the Sony's cranking out these games, these first-party titles, these exclusives that they do that have just garnered awards and stuff. And Microsoft, all they really were doing is just buying studios. Prior to this situation here where they bought Activision Blizzard, they were just buying up studios. Bethesda was a big one that they had bought recently. But they had also bought Ninja Theory and a couple of other studios as well just recently. I remember a couple of E3s ago, probably it was this past one, where they talked about, here's our studios, and they're all working on stuff with Hellblade 2 and a couple of other things. That's what Microsoft does. They buy studios. They rarely make games for themselves, but they buy studios that can make those games. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they kill those studios, and sometimes they let those studios do what they do. But it's essentially Sony doesn't. It's very rare when Sony buys a studio. They have been purchasing some studios here and there recently. They picked up the Returnal guys, and I want to say they also picked up Bluepoint. Bluepoint Games became part of Sony as well.
Yeah, they redid Demon Souls for them, didn't they?
Yeah.
Bluepoint, yeah.
They did the Shadow of the Colossus remaster.
Yeah.
They did the Uncharted remasters as well. So they decided to just buy Bluepoint. And that's fine. They do that, but not in the way that Microsoft does it. Mm. So the more these studios that Microsoft buys, the more they have this backing of here's now all of these games we have, and here's all of our gaming studios that we have. Which for investors means, okay, then you have all these games coming out and that sort of thing with, people that look at the money-making aspect of what they're going to do. They have the backing of studios. Sony doesn't. Sony is they don't have that firepower anymore. They have that exclusive firepower, yes, but that's not going to hold out in the long run or in the long term. Now, if this whole rumor thing about them doing some sort of Game Pass equivalent, I wouldn't say competitor anymore because it's going to be hard to compete. And that's not something. That was something else that crossed my mind. There was the most distant of rumors. I don't know how long ago, where people were thinking that maybe Microsoft was going to branch Game Pass onto other consoles. Kind of like EA Play. You can buy EA Play on Microsoft and Sony and all these other things.
Yeah.
But to allow Game Pass to start being something that you can buy on Sony's PlayStation or on Nintendo Switch. They already own it on the PC, but there was talk of that. I don't think Microsoft is going to be in the console business. They will. They'll keep making them. And they'll keep pushing for Game Pass. But if for some reason Nintendo and Microsoft get in bed together as far as putting Game Pass on Nintendo products, they won't care about console sales anymore. It'll be those subscription services.
Yeah.
And I think that's really where they're going to go with it, is subscription service. To the point of, we talked about this a long time ago about how it could veer into cell phone territory, where you're on a contract.
Yeah.
And every 2 years, you can upgrade to the next console as long as you're a subscriber to our, to our little ecosystem here of Game Pass. Will it be $15 a month at that point when that happens? Probably not. It'll probably be, excess of more of a, I don't know, what is it per year? Because I pay a yearly fee. I think I pay $60 a year for Game Pass. Yeah, I don't know. It could go in that direction. If they can get it on more than just the Xbox ecosystem. I mean, I know it's already on Xbox and PC, but if they can get it off
PC is
there.
Windows,
Right,
which is,
exactly. Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Drunk to Dinner says, the thing that bothers me most about Microsoft buying studios is that Sony tends to buy studios that have been doing games nearly exclusively for them in the past anyways. You're exactly right. Yeah, most of what Sony buys are the exclusive guys, the guys that are already working on them.
Yeah.
And no, Microsoft is not done buying studios. Maybe until this deal goes through they are. But, yeah, I don't think they would buy anything. I don't think you're going to hear them buying anything else for a little while. Because I think this has to go through first.
And they spend a lot of money.
Yeah, if they start buying more, the whole government situation is going to look at that and say, wait a second.
Hold on now.
This deal hasn't even gone through and you just bought somebody else. So, yeah, I don't know. Every game is third person over the shoulder. They no longer have Western RPGs. First person shooters besides free to play. Microsoft holds 5% of Apple's stock. Yeah. So just looking over those. That's the whole thing, And there's more to it than this. We'll find out more. There's going to be more to unpack and analyze when more announcements are made or more things come out about Activision and Blizzard with their situations that are going on. So, yeah, it's just going to continue to develop until they own it.
Yep.
So, anyway, Matt, thanks for coming by, man.
I'm glad I could.
I'm glad you could make it too, especially since we won't see you again for 2 months.
Yeah,
so
I was out last week doing a marathon.
I know. Yeah, we can read your shirt there.
I did the
And you
Disney
brought us
marathon.
that awesome cookie.
Hey, you brought a cookie. Yeah.
Cake.
It was a big. It was
a thick boy.
Yeah, it really was.
It was a cake.
But
It was a cake with all the chocolate chip cookie fixings on it. That's what it was, folks.
It was great.
well,
It
I
was
want to thank
delicious.
everybody for showing up in the chat
good.
room, and also everybody in Discord there, and everybody who called. Chris, thank you as well. Thank you guys for watching the show. Hope you have a great week. Don't forget to join us on Discord, join us on Steam, every place that we're at. You can find it all at our website, ingamechat.net. Have a great week. Thanks for listening. We will see you next Saturday. Music here from a game called The Gunk. This is called Gardener. Have a great one.